Hi, I'm Ross Barry and you're watching CCN's special COVID-19 news bulletin for Wednesday, April 1. Today we have a further update on the virus from local district health and a range of news and announcements about closures here on the Central Coast, including the temporary closure of Kincumber High School and news that the Central Coast Mariners have decided to stand down all their players. Well, authorities are urging everyone to continue to adhere to restrictions on travel and social gatherings, despite nascent signs that the rate of spread of the virus is slowing, at least here in New South Wales. Here on the coast, local district health advised us earlier today that the number of confirmed cases has risen to 102, an increase of 12 cases in the last 48 hours. In the previous two 48 hours periods, that same increase was 32 and then 20. So that's looking like a trend. 4,100 people have now been tested here on the coast, which implies a positive test rate of 2.5%. Of the 102 positive cases, only one has been hospitalised and 7 have now recovered. A similar slowing in the rate of infection has occurred across New South Wales in the past week. There are 114 new cases in the last 24 hours, compared with a daily increase of over 200 late last week. New South Wales Premier Gladys Berejiklian did warn yesterday, however, that there were likely many more cases that had been unreported, as well as the ongoing risk of new clusters, as observed yesterday in Bondi Beach Backpackers Lodge. Separately, local health district is calling on health workers to join it in a bid to bolster its workforce in response to COVID-19. A range of casual positions are being advertised for nurses, doctors, allied health professionals and pharmacists, and the district will also be seeking patient support staff, cleaners, switchboard operators, as well as people with logistics and warehouse experience. And the full media release from District Health is available on our website. Well, earlier today we learnt that Kincumber High School had closed temporarily after learning that one of its senior students had tested positive to the virus. Let's go to David Abrahams.
Yes, thanks Ross. Yes, Kincumber High closed its gates this morning after confirmation a senior student had tested positive to COVID-19. Principal Brent Walker advised parents early this morning and said the school was working with New South Wales Health to assist them contact tracing, process for staff and students. And they've all been asked to self-isolate until that process has been completed. A locally based international data analyst is calling for more COVID-19 data to be released to the public to help educate and inform people about the spread of the virus. Copacabana resident Patrick Spedding, a strategic advisor in data analytics, points out that other countries such as the UK and US are now providing COVID-19 data at postcode, zip code level, while here in Australia data is only available at a much broader regional level. I spoke with Patrick earlier today.
I've seen how in other countries now they're actually providing a lot more information at a more granular level. So at postcode level in the UK, for example, zip code level in the US, and it helps regions to be more proactive rather than reactive when it comes to where cases are and where clusters may be and so on. And I just feel that, particularly here on the Central Coast, we have over 1/3 people and we've got one number that's been reported, which is the total number of cases, and it doesn't really give us much insight into what's going on, what the trends are, and how we can more adequately respond as people in the community.
And finally, the state government announced last week that all local government elections would be postponed by 1 year, a decision we understand has been welcomed by at least most councillors. Though we'll be talking later this week with independent councillor Bruce McLaughlin on what he has to say around that decision. Back to you, Ross.
Thanks, David. The Central Coast Mariners announced yesterday that it would follow the contentious decision by Perth Glory to stand down all players and freeze all payments indefinitely. The PFA has already flagged legal action against Glory, and we can only assume that the Mariners' decision will get a similar reception. We understand the decision is linked to the expectation that Fox Sports will suspend payments to clubs worth around $900,000 each after the FFA postponed all remaining A-League games this season. It's widely believed that the Mariners have struggled financially for a long time due to their poor performance and small crowds, and we'll have more for you on that in later bulletins. Well, that's all for today. Now, we don't normally deal in rumour, but we've heard it from the Wee Wee Philosophers Society this week that there is a call for Mother's Day due in May to be cancelled this year, and that in its place Father's Day in September would now be a father's whole weekend. Well, that might be one for us to take a poll on and get back to you. Make sure you grab a copy of this week's Coast Community News out on Friday, where we put together a full-page description of the stimulus measures available to workers, households and small business here on the Central Coast. In the meantime, stay well and join us again on Friday afternoon for our next edition of 5 at 5.